Following yesterday's announcement by President Biden, several Republicans called on him to step down immediately from office. Our next guest tweeted, if Joe Biden is unfit to run for re-election, he is unfit to carry out his term. 25th Amendment. Joining us now is Senator MarkWayne Mullin, and I've seen some conjecture about that, but it looks unlikely he's going to stick it out. It would be, the whole process gets kind of muddled if we were to see Vice President Harris immediately ascend to the presidency, wouldn't it, Senator?
It would definitely get muddled, but here's the question that needs to be asked. Is a Democrat saying that Joe Biden is unfit to run for office, or are they saying that, or the Democrats saying that he's not able to win? Because if they're saying that he's not able to win, then they're saying that the democracy that they're saying that they're trying to defend doesn't really matter, because there's 14 million Democrats that voted for him in the primary. But if they're saying that he's unfit to run for office, then the Democrats, need to be looking at the 25th Amendment. They need to be honest with the American people. If he's unfit to run for office, then he's unfit to serve while he's in office. And that's why we have a VP, and that's also why we have a 25th Amendment. So it's either or. They can't have both.
They'll be able to, I think, and there will be what is purported to be an open process at the convention, I can imagine. Are you troubled that we heard about it through a tweet and a letter? And I mean, LBJ, I think, spoke for 40 minutes and told the nation what was happening, and it was very heartfelt and everything else. I don't know what that was yesterday, really.
Well, I have a feeling this is just kind of the same par that we've seen from this administration. We saw this during his campaign. We saw this during his presidency. And so it's really not a surprise that he did this through a letter stepping out, because I don't know how he could really address the nation in this. And if he had COVID, listen, I give the guy a little bit. If he has COVID, he's really sick. He may not be able to actually address the nation like he need to, but the boiling point inside the Democrat Party was getting so heavy that he needed to do something because of the uncertainty. So I mean, the letter it really is not surprising to me. What is surprising to me is how quick the Democrats turned on Biden. That's what really is surprising to me. It's actually kind of sad, because they had sold it to the American people that he was fine. They sold it to the American people for the last 3.5 years that he was the best leader they've ever had. And then after one debate, my goodness, they changed quickly when they started seeing the numbers, thinking they couldn't beat Donald Trump. And all of a sudden, they're worried about his health. But I think all of us probably saw this coming. Joe, I was saying last year that it was a 50-50 chance that he was going to actually be on the ticket. I didn't think they would actually kick him out this way. I thought they would allow him to make his decision himself. But it kind of reminds you of the stories you hear about Nixon, about the Republican old bulls going to the White House saying that either you resign or we're going to impeach you and convict you. It's kind of the same thing. I think it seems like to me they kind of circled their wagons around him and said that either you step out or we're pulling our support from you. It even worries you more, though, if they actually go into the convention and they have an open convention, because you really don't know what's going to happen. Keep in mind, it wasn't that long ago that Bernie Sanders almost took over the convention. So you could see if they don't have a nominee picked by the time they go into that convention, there is no telling who's going to come out.
Senator, do you think our enemies are watching closely? And is this a dangerous time in your view? Because there are others that say that our foreign policy for the last 6 months, it's been, or even longer, it's been conducted sort of by committee. And that won't change now. He'll have the same jigsaw. Whomever is sort of behind the scene. We've seen many times where he said, I got to go. I'm told I can't answer anymore. We've seen that again and again. And the question was asked, who's really running things? Does it matter? Are we in danger? Are these dangerous times with the president in the condition he's in right now, running the country?
I don't know if it would be as much as a concern as it actually is more of a plus, because as our adversaries watch this, one thing that we used to always say is that risk versus rewards. You want to mitigate the risk versus reward, and so a way to mitigate the risk is have a pretty common outcome of knowing what the circumstances are going to be. So if you have certainty because you know what the leader's behavior is going to be, or you know what their reaction is going to be, you can, if you can judge the reaction, you can judge what your second move is going to be. With the uncertainty going on in the White House, with Joe Biden, stepping down from running for office, I think our adversaries are thinking, hold on, now who's going to really be pulling the strings? Who's going to be making the decisions? Is this going to divert now back to the Pentagon? The Pentagon's going to have more flexibility, so then you're going to have more military people making the decisions. Are you going to go to Secretary Blinken? And so there's really more uncertainty with our adversaries. So I think it actually holds them at bay. If they knew Biden was going to be there, I think we were going to be at an even worse position, because Biden's administration that we're currently operating on, but they don't know what they're going to have in a few weeks or a few months. It was more of an appeasement policy moving forward than a peace through strength. So I feel actually better today with our adversaries looking on what's happened to America, because they see a change happening and they don't have time to react.